Hi, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Caroline Horn. I am the Associate Director for Orientation and Student Onboarding here at Bentley. We are so excited to welcome you to the Bentley community, and I'm going to hand it over to our Assistant Director.
Hi everyone, my name is Kenny Allard. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the Assistant Director for New Students and Family Programs here at Bentley, and we are so excited to have you all here.
And so for this live chat today, it is a webinar format. So if you have any questions throughout the session, feel free to put those in the Q&A. We will answer those throughout our presentation and then again at the end. So any questions you have as we're talking about different topics, feel free to add that there. Your cameras are muted, your volume is muted. So just know that it is a webinar view for today. All right, so a little bit about our new Falcon experience. So there are a few different components for your students as they begin their Bentley journey, one being our new student checklist. So these are all the items that all of our new students need to complete prior to starting their Bentley journey in the fall. There's also a new Falcon website that has all sorts of information for our new students. It will have information about what does housing look like? What does that process look like? What does advising look like for course registration? What are some components of orientation? And then a lot of different FAQs from all different departments across campus. But that new student checklist is a really important piece of getting started at Bentley. Our Bentley Beginnings program is our online orientation program that all students will complete this month and really just gives them a glimpse into what student life is like here at Bentley. And so we will go through that information a little bit more in depth throughout this session. For academic overview and course registration, again, we'll have a session specifically on course registration for your students with our academic services team, but really just a chance for them to understand what is academics like at Bentley, learn more about majors and minors, and then again about course registration. We will have a few different activities for students to participate in throughout the summer virtually. So we have a new Falcon Nest working program, which will have opportunities for students through our campus groups platform, which is a platform for students to really connect with each other and with various student orgs on campus. That app will go live at the beginning of June for all of our new students. And then we do have a social media account. We use Instagram a lot for our Welcome Falcons account. And so making sure that you and your students are following along on that platform. We will be posting a lot of important dates and deadlines, but also opportunity for students to connect with each other as well as our orientation team. We will be hosting various Falcon Live Chats throughout the summer. So this is our first one, but the rest of our Falcon Live Chats will really be with various different campus resources. And so we will be going through that. And then our fall orientation program will start at the end of August for all new students. And we will also be having some sessions for families as well.
So for our next slide, it's on goals. And our first goal is community. So we are excited to welcome new Falcons to the university by providing them intentional opportunities to interact with the community. So we do intentional programming during our orientation program to provide students that. Values provide new students with a shared understanding of institutional values and responsibilities. So we have them meet with different campus partners, offices, and departments to provide them with this knowledge and to just get a better understanding of what Bentley values and how they can contribute to that. Academics introduce students to the academic community and resources. So, like I just said, they'll have various opportunities to meet with different campus offices and departments, just to get a better introduction in how they can work together. Engagement, engage students in social, educational, and cultural programmings, which enhance their well-being and their experience. Specifically with our orientation program, we provide them with opportunities like this, and also we have different offices that provide these cultural programmings as well, just to get a better understanding of who makes up our campus. And then lastly, traditions, introduce new students to Bentley University traditions and an understanding of their place in the Bentley story. A big part of our orientation is, or a theme of our orientation program is storytelling. So we love to be able to allow students to, tell their story and share that with their peers. And then introducing them to different traditions on campus, like our Back to Bentley week that we have on campus when they arrive.
Right. And so our new student checklist can be found in the Bentley Connect portal. It can also be found on the New Falcon Experience website and on the first page of our New Falcon Quick Guide. So students will be able to see all of their tasks that they need to complete for the next couple of months. It really lays it out from June, July, and August. We'll go through some of these tasks on the next slide as well. They can access their tasks in the Bentley Connect portal and also set up their Bentley email, which will be necessary for completion of all of their tasks. If your student has any questions about their account and setting up their Bentley email, they can email helpdesk@bentley.edu with any questions. And then remember that Bentley Connect login is currently set as the personal email that was used for applying to Bentley, but you are able to change it to the Bentley email. So some of the various new Falcon tasks throughout the summer. So starting right now in May, students will need to set up their Bentley email account. That is the account that we will send all important emails to, including our new Falcon news, different updates, and information from various campus resources. Students can also review the New Falcon website and a quick guide. Both of these really outline different ways to help them get started, and also will outline the different tasks and give some more information for them. For June, students will need to complete the online orientation program. They will need to complete both the critical reading and writing essay and the math selection survey. These two components really help them to register for classes and will help them with the placement of those classes. They will need to submit a housing and meal plan contract and application through the residential center, submit immunization information and health records for the health center, and then complete various workday onboarding tasks. So that is a lot for June. All of that is very important for students to get started here at Bentley. If they do have any questions about setting up their Bentley emails, they are able to email the help desk, and residential students will gain access to the housing contract and application on Wednesday, May 22nd. So in the middle of this week, they will hear more information from the residential center. For the health immunization forms and information, we know that sometimes students will need help from their families for this piece. So they may be asking you for support there. And students will get their information for their bill in Workday in mid-July. If you want to set up access, third-party access for that to see your student's bill, you can work with them to set that up in Workday. For our July tasks, students who may have advanced standing or transfer credits will need to submit that information in July. They will also be asked to review some new student advising and registration So they'll be able to review that website. They can register for fall courses at the end of the month. They will be presented their student bill, and they are able to submit their photo for their Falcon card, which is their Bentley ID. In August, students will be asked to pay the student bill, enroll or waive the health insurance, complete our self-guided learning courses. So we have various courses on alcohol EDU, on Title IX, on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so they will be asked to complete those in August. More information about that will be sent towards the beginning of August. They will move into their residence hall if they are a residential student, and they will participate in orientation and various pre-orientation programs if they opt into those. And then classes begin on September 3rd this year. So a lot of information on this slide, but really important tasks for students to complete from now until they come to campus in September.
Awesome. So we mentioned Bentley Beginnings a little bit in the beginning. So it's an online program intended to introduce folks to Bentley. It's very helpful as it includes resources, information, and we'll also post important announcements on there. And students are actually able to personally keep track of their tasks on there as well, so they can see what's completed and what still needs to be done and by when. They also have about a month to complete this, so they will need to be completed by June 28th. 2024. But this program really provides essential information for students to prepare their journey at Bentley. It covers content about academic life, student life, well-being, in Bentley's core values. And really just how to maximize their time as a student at Bentley. So family members are also able to review this program by creating a guest account at orientation.bentley.edu. And then also our new student registration. So there'll be a pre-registration videos that are very helpful for students to view with an academic overview. And it includes helpful information to prepare for course registration. This is probably a new process for students. So these videos will be very helpful. And these will be released in June. There will also be optional advising support in July. And then important dates to remember, there's going to be new student registration for first year students, July 31st, and for folks that are transferring into Bentley on July 29th. And orientation, it'll happen during orientation on August 30th on campus. So we'll have also on-site registration support for any updates students may need to make on their schedule. So it is important that students complete their writing essay and their math selection survey by June 10th. That is one of their tasks so that they can receive the proper placement prior to their course registration. This will just help them get placed in the correct type of level. Additionally, if they have any advanced standing credits or transfer credits, so their advanced standing credits may be advanced placement or stuff of that nature, they should be sent in by July 15th at the latest. So totally understand that this is so much information and a lot of dates, but this PowerPoint will be and webinar will be uploaded to our YouTube. So we'll keep an eye out later for that.
All right, now we're going to talk a little bit about ways that your students can engage with our community this summer. So students are able to connect with current students via our social media platform. We have various components of our Welcome Falcons account, including Baby Falc Fridays, which we work with different campus resources to really do Instagram takeovers for students. So they are able to submit questions on any topic throughout the week, and then we'll answer them for them on Friday. So we'll introduce the topics throughout the summer for them. We also have a segment called Tech Tip Tuesdays, where students are able to learn a little bit more about the various platforms we use on campus, whether that's Outlook, Microsoft 365, and a lot of different things that students will use while they're on campus. We do Where Are We Wednesdays? So we have students from all across the world. So we do highlight where our students are coming from, where our orientation leaders are throughout the summer, and really just giving students a chance to see that. And then we have Tasty Thursday, which is where we highlight various restaurants across Waltham for students to hopefully go to when they are on campus. This summer, we will have a series of New Falcon newsletters that will go out to students every Tuesday. So they will get an email from our office with information about upcoming checklist items, with introductions to our team, to other student leaders on campus, to different highlights of events and resources on campus. So this is a really important piece for your students to look out for each week. It will get sent out Tuesday mornings throughout the entire summer. We are also hosting a New Falcon Nestworking series. So this will be events taking place throughout the summer for students to nestwork or network with fellow Falcons. They'll be able to ask questions and win Bentley swag. We will post information about this series on both Instagram and on the Campus Groups app. And our New Falcon Experience app will go live next week for new students. And so really it's a chance for students to navigate our engagement platform, but also to be able to connect with each other and our orientation team. We will have different ways for them to answer some prompts throughout each week. And we also will be hosting various virtual events. So we'll have a roommate mixer, we'll have a bingo game, trivia, and so just a lot of different ways for students to really start connecting with each other prior to August when they are coming to an in-person orientation. And there are also ways for you all to connect with us throughout the summer and then in the fall semester too. We really value the partnership our families have. We know that we really work together to ensure that your students are successful on campus. So in May and June, we really encourage you to look out that new student quick guide. It has a lot of really important information in there. You can participate in the Bentley Beginnings or online orientation program. Like Kenny said, you can create a guest account and see what your students are seeing. We do have a student affairs video series that families can access to learn more about the various areas of student affairs and how we support students on campus. And we will be sending out Falcon family newsletters each month. And we will be highlighting some of the information that your students are receiving in the New Falcon news, but also some information geared towards you all as well. In July, you will receive another Falcon family newsletter. We hope that you will continue to participate and learn from the Falcon Live Chat series, which are Zoom webinar series highlighting different campus resources on campus. You can see our full schedule under New Falcon events. And so we will send that link out again, but we also highlight it on our Instagram page. In August, we will also have a family newsletter and more Falcon Live chats to really help you get ready for your students' arrival to campus at the end of the month. We do have a few different programs that will happen towards the end of August. So we have a mosaic orientation, which is for students of color. They apply for this program. It's an early arrival program. If they are interested in that and they are participating, there are family events that happen during that first day of programming. We have a welcome reception for our defined communities. Again, this is an opt-in program for students if they want to live in a themed living community within one of our residence halls. We have an international student and family welcome reception that will happen on August 27th. And so this is for our students who are participating in our international student pre-arrival program. And then our move-in day for all of our new students, it takes place on August 29th, and it begins with move-in, but then also with convocation and a family reception following convocation. At the end of September, we do host a post-orientation virtual workshop. So this is where you'll be reconnected with our team as well as some of our president leadership team within student affairs. You'll be able to connect with some of our academic services team, hear from some academic advisors, and really just a chance for us to let you know what happened during orientation, hear from our VP, and really hopefully get your student off on the right foot on campus. And then save the date for Falcon Weekend, which is September 22nd to 29th this year. So that will be a chance about a month in for you to come back to campus and see your students and hopefully hear about all the great things they've been up to for the past month.
Awesome. And then here's just a list of our upcoming Falcon Live Chats. So we have one coming up on June 4th, 2024. So it's academics at Bentley. It'll be at the same time right now, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Another deposited Now What community meeting happening on the 5th of June at 6 p.m. for folks who may not have been able to make it. And then there's also going to be Living at Bentley on June 11th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will tell you all about what it's like to live on campus and housing and all of that fun stuff. And then the new Falcon arrival and orientation. So starting in August, there'll be some self-guided learning courses. So this will be courses on diversity, equity, inclusion, alcohol, EDU, and our sexual assault prevention courses. So on Sunday, August 25th, there'll be a Zoom where the students can meet their orientation group and their orientation leaders. So this is just a fun way to meet some folks on campus before you arrive for actual orientation. On August 27th through September 2nd will be the International Student Welcome and Orientation. So as Caroline mentioned, they do international students will be moving in a few days before. And then on August 29th through September 2nd is the new student orientation with all students. So we are very excited to have everyone on campus, and it'll come before we all know it.
And then our last piece is really highlighting any questions that you all have that we can answer in the next part of this session, but also the new Falcon question form that we have in Bentley Support Central. So this is really built to enhance your student experience. If students are asking questions, they can use their Bentley email and password to sign in. Family members are able to submit the form without a login. So there is an external facing site for family members to ask any questions. And basically what this form is it's a central hub for any and all questions related to the new Falcon experience. So if you have a question about housing, you can check off a box and say, I have a question about housing, and then list that, and it will get routed to the residential center. If you have a question about orientation, you can select New Falcon Experience and it will get routed to us. So really a one-stop shop for students and family members to really ask any and all questions that they have throughout this process. We know that there is a lot of information and sometimes it is hard to find exactly what you are looking for. So hopefully by using this, you are able to really get that information that you need. We also do have an email address, so if you have any direct questions for our team, feel free to email orientation@bentley.edu. Our phone number is 781-891-2271. And then our Instagram account is also a great resource, and our Instagram handle is @WelcomeFalcons. So that is the information that we have for you all today. I know there are some questions in the Q&A, so we'll start answering some of those for you now. So the first question is, when do students get to fill out the housing form? So once you receive the email from the residential center, you are able to fill out that form. So starting middle of the week, this week, students will receive more information from the residential center. There are not hotel room blocks for move-in day, but there is a lot of information on our webpage about hotels in the area, and they're hotels at different price points. So that information would be able to help you with that. For the fall athletes, there will be a session specifically for fall athletes with the athletics team. So I would encourage you and your student to participate in that live chat to learn more about exactly what the move-in process will look like for our fall athletes. The orientation on August 30th is multiple days. So it starts on the Thursday and it runs through Sunday. So it is a packed schedule for students. Friday really is a lot of our academic pieces. We bring in various keynote speakers from off campus to talk about different topics. We will have small group conversations for students with our orientation leaders, which has about 92 students on it right now. They are very excited to start connecting with your students. So really a jam-packed schedule with a lot of things to help them get started, but a lot of ways to help them get connected with each other too throughout that time. Our orientation groups are based on their Falcon Discovery seminars. So that is their first year seminar that they complete during their first year. And basically, they will meet their cheerleader that works with that section during the program. And then they get to work with that student leader throughout their first semester as well. So we really work with our Falcon Discovery Seminar team to make sure that students are well connected both at orientation and throughout the course. To become part of the Mosaic program, you will complete an application and they will select students based on that. More information on the Mosaic program will be sent out within the next few weeks to students. Convocation takes place early in the afternoon on move-in day. It begins either at 2 or 3 p.m. and then the family reception follows that. Once convocation is over, your student will head to an orientation welcome, and you as a family member are welcome to stay for the reception, but that convocation is really the point where we really recommend students start saying goodbye and really at the beginning of that, and then everybody participates in convocation and then orientation begins directly after that. For more information on the meal plan, I would recommend going to the session with the residential center. They can talk more about the residential student experience, which would include both the meal plans and living on campus. For health insurance questions, we can put in the account information to email our health center, and they can help you with the health insurance process. And then again, encouraging you all to go to the session with academic services, where they will talk about the new student experience, what the requirements for a first year student is, as well as the requirements for our transfer students. If you have any specific questions about what are the requirements for transfer students, I would recommend submitting a question through that question form, and we can get you an answer there. Students will move into the res halls on the 29th if they are not participating in any of our early arrival programs. They will have that morning to really start kind of organizing their room, decorating it. And then once orientation is over on Sunday, we do give students some optional programming on Monday, on Labor Day, but really they have that whole day to really settle in and prepare for their first day of classes on Tuesday. For the women's leadership program, there is not an early start, but they will be sending out more information to your students about ways for them to start connecting. We don't work specifically with that program, but we can also share that email for you as well to connect with Nana and Julia. The international student program or early move-in is really great. It really helps students meet other international students. It goes through some different sessions that are specific to our international student population, but really gives them a chance to be on campus a few days prior and really start adjusting and acclimating to campus. So I really would recommend that students participate in that if they are an international student. I think it helps with the transition period, and then they can come into the orientation program and learn more information as well. So I would recommend, yes. The writing essay and math placement are required as part of the new student process. So I would encourage I would make sure that you are completing that. If you have any questions about those placements, I would submit the question form and ask it to academic services, and they can give you more information on those two components. All right. It looks like we have answered all the questions in the Q&A. For the meal plan, I would recommend attending the session with the residential center. They'll talk through the residential life aspects as well as the meal plans. They can give you more information there with the tuition cost. All right. Thank you all for spending a bit of time with us. We're really excited to welcome this class to our Bentley community. Again, if you have any questions throughout this process, please feel free to fill out that question form or send us an email. We are happy to answer any and all questions that you have. But thank you again for learning a little bit more about the onboarding experience at Bentley. Have a good day.